The following episode of The Kingdom of Isolation contains footage from the film being discussed. The footage is used solely for the purposes of education, commentary, and criticism under fair use. Please support the animators by watching this film on Disney Plus or home media where available. This episode also contains spoilers throughout.
Hello my fellow Disney fans and welcome to the Kingdom of Isolation, where in times of trouble, why not celebrate the magic of Disney? I'm Kenzie and today we're going to be returning to the jungle, but it's not going to be the jungle that we know. Not the sweeping, emotional world of Disney's Tarzan, where heart met heroism and hand-drawn animation swung into the future. No, this is Tarzan 2, a midquel, a sequel that's secretly a prequel, a movie that dares to ask, what if Tarzan but smaller? Released in 2005, 6 years after the original masterpiece, Tarzan 2 takes us back to the days before the loincloth, before Jane, before the vine surfing physics that defied all known laws of nature. This time, Tarzan is just a kid, a boy unsure of where he belongs. Yeah, somewhere between awkward and animated. Haven't seen that before. It's a story of courage, of self-discovery, of hiding in the jungle for 72 minutes until you believe in yourself. And unlike the original, where Phil Collins carried every emotional beat with a lyrical Tarzan himself, this one trades sweeping ballads for playful background jingles and a few less expensive musical reprises. To understand Tarzan 2, you have to remember where it came from. The end of the Disney Renaissance. The original Tarzan closed that era with thunder, stunning animation, powerful storytelling, and the sound of Phil Collins drumming his heart out for a generation, and still does to this day with that music. But by 2005, that thunder was long gone, replaced by a quiet thud of DVD cases landing in supermarket bargain bins. Still, beneath the recycled animation and jungle-sized existential crisis, Tarzan 2 does have heart. It's a story about fear, the fear of not fitting in, of not being enough. It's about the moment before the yell, when the boy still doubts the man he'll become. So tonight, we return to the vines not to relive the legend, but to the child who would become it. Because even the mightiest heroes begin as lost boys. Not those ones! And here in the Kingdom of Isolation, even the smallest Tarzan deserves to be heard. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with everything here in the Kingdom of Isolation. Click the bell, turn on notifications so you don't miss when an episode goes live on this channel. I also have a passes page in the description of this video as well, so you can see uncut episodes of the Kingdom of Isolation, plus a new way to experience, plus a different way of experiencing the Kingdom of Isolation episodes from 2026 onwards, as well as a way to experience the DreamWorks diaries. So, here we go. Let's get started. A direct-to-video sequel had been in the works since well before the first Tarzan film hit theaters in the summer of 1999. The sequel's story supposedly follows young Tarzan's comic misadventures with the brother of Kerchak, the serious silverback who's in charge of the band of gorillas that Tarzan considers his family. Which is why it turns out that Kerchak's brother was a bit of a party animal, which is why the other irresponsible apes were banished, forced to live far away from the tribe. In the course of the story, young Tarzan himself misbehaves one day. As a result, Kerchak orders the ape man to go live with the banished gorillas for a while. Tarzan ends up befriending Kerchak's brother and eventually reunites this splintered family. However, Thomas Schumacher, president of Walt Disney Studios, objected to the idea of the noble Kerchak having a flaky younger brother and halted production on Tarzan 2 in early 2002. The storyline with Kerchak's brother has now been totally dropped. Expect a much lighter movie than originally planned when it came out in June 2005. Thomas Schumacher felt the project was too dark and serious for a sequel, and revolving too much about Kerchak a character he really disliked from the original. The two songs Phil Collins had already written will now need a serious facelift. And that's all I have on the behind the scenes. Like, seriously. That's it. Still, time to head back to the jungle. So we don't waste any time being chased by the Zugor monster, which ends up only being...
Hey! No fair catching a ride!
Well, that was a bit underwhelming. All that just to get Tarzan to run fast. He's a kid. Give him a chance to develop. Tarzan here is voiced by Harrison Shad, who was in the middle of being Boots in Dora the Explorer, as well as guest appearances on Go Diego Go when this film came out. He was also Cardigan in Charlotte's Web 2. Yes, this is a real thing. Tantor's voiced by Harrison Fan, who would go on to voice Copper in Fox and the Hound 2. Great. And he was also in one of soon-to-be 7 Ice Age movies as of 2027, including the Buck Wild spin-off.
How do you sleep at night?
Bad enough you have 14 Land Before Time movies, but now we have 7 Ice Age movies as of 2027.
You're the worst thing ever.
You're not helping, Turk. They're voiced by Brenda Great. Brenda who? Exactly. No joke. The only names I recognize are Glenn Close reprising her role as Carla, Lance Henriksen back as Kerchak, Estelle Harris as Mama Gunda, last seen as Mrs. Potato Head in soon-to-be 5 Toy Story movies.
How do you sleep at night?
I'm not apologizing for that. That is warranted. That is justified. Seriously, Disney, how do you sleep at night? Brad Garrett as Uto, last seen as Lord Grygon in Elio. Top right of your screens for that. Brad also has a credit alongside Vin Diesel in
The Pacifier!
same year this came out, no less. The other names I know are Ron Perlman as Kago, and Ron was also Hellboy, like the original Hellboy from the 2000s. Finally, George Carlin as Zugor, who was last seen as Fillmore in Cars. Right, cast done. Next, music. Mark Mancina is back. Oh boy, what a downgrade from the first film. And Brother Bear. And Dave Metzger, last seen composing for Wish. Something I did notice is that one of the additional voices here is Mary Mouser. Yes, that Mary Mouser who was Samantha LaRusso in Cobra Kai. Now engaged to Tanner Buchanan, who played Robbie Keane in the same show.
This is a prescription for disaster.
No, you do not get brownie points for reusing that Phil Collins song from the first film, no matter how good it sounds. It just doesn't work here at all. What? Phil came back to write more songs for this film? Phil, you deserve better than this. Only 2 new songs written for the film. And no, the reprises do not count. Supervising animators now, and we are just going to get on with the film. Peter Lemers for Tarzan, Ian Harrowell for Turk and Tantor, Bernard Derriman for Zugor, and Andrew Collins and Mark Wassick for Yuto Keigo and Mama Gunda.
Poor Carla. He's a menace to all of us.
Wow, nice to know that even Carla isn't like just because Tarzan is a human. His parents are dead! Turk doesn't exactly help matters when they try to imitate Carla and Kerchak just to try and cheer Tarzan up. And Kerchak's right behind Turk, isn't he?
I was making fun of Kerchak.
When you start predicting the gags, they don't really have much bite when you've made the prediction, making them fall very flat in the process. I've already told the film off for trying to get brownie points for using Spider-Man earlier, and now I'm going to do it again. You're not getting any brownie points for trying to do an orchestral version of You'll Be in My Heart. Stop reminding me of a film I would rather be watching right now. Carla tries cheering Tarzan up from earlier while trying to settle him down to sleep, with minimal success.
Tarzan, I'm not a good ape. I can't outrun the Zugor.
The Zugor?
You know there's no such thing. That's just an old ghost story.
But if he was real, he'd get me.
Seriously, I don't know how to feel here. Seriously, I don't know how to feel here.
Everyone would be better off if I just wasn't around.
A little sympathy for the youngster. We've all had moments where we felt we'd be better off if we weren't around, including me. And this is where my hero Chelsea comes into play. My fellow gym goers will know exactly who I'm on about. I was at a point about 2.5 years ago where I was rock bottom with my mental health, and I just didn't want to be here anymore. So I basically cried out for help. And the gym I was at the time, they checked in on me throughout the night, even if I did kind of scare them a little bit. Had to get the police involved so that they made sure I was okay. And then Chelsea comes to pick me up the following evening. We go and do a gym session together, and yeah, that gym, especially Chelsea. Oh man, they saved my life that night. And forever grateful for having Chelsea in my life. Hopefully I'll be able to catch up with her at some point. Carla takes Tarzan to show him the strongest tree in the forest, jungle, whatever. All because of the other trees around it, helping to support it like a family. Moments like this in these direct-to-video sequels feel cheesy, sometimes they're charming, sometimes they're forced. I'm gonna go with some charm here. The next day, kids start playing together when the rain starts. Okay, that's a long way down. I wonder if that'll come into play later. Run! Disney, can you stop making these direct-to-video sequels so predictable, please? Carla doesn't save Tarzan after a vine snaps and part of the trunk whiplashes back into her face. No, I'm not giving it the proper treatment! But Tarzan is okay thanks to a vine. He manages to hold on to.
He almost got her killed, too. I hate to say it, but she's probably better off without him.
This is just Dumbo all over again, but worse. This causes Tarzan to run away, and the first actual song of the film, again, reprises don't count. Leaving home, find my way in brackets. I'm going to give the film this, excluding the reprises. Phil Collins does a great job with the only two songs written for this film. But again, why two composers were needed for this is beyond me, especially when Mark works fine alongside Phil without anyone else being involved. Leaving Home would become the song I need to know for the Broadway production of the original film. Tarzan gets chased by Sabor before the Zugor saves him, only to end up at Dark Mountain.
Don't poke me, don't poke me, don't poke me!
And I'm supposed to take Kago seriously. Looks intimidating, acts anything but when around Uto. But by the way, they're brothers. Uto being really immature and poking Kago, which causes him to get hiccups because reasons, I guess. Then their mother shows up, Mama Gunda, to stop the siblings fighting. Haven't seen that before.
Fighting each other makes Mama very unhappy! Do we understand, Mama?
I'm sorry, make her very what? Thank goodness the transcripts are available online. Very unhappy is what she says. The Zugor reveals itself for the first time in the film, and it turns out to be
Element of surprise!
Did you really think they were going to reveal this so soon?
My tree, stay out!
Rude. Keigo and Uto get a bedtime story from Gunda about frogs, which gets very intense very quickly.
And this time, anyone who gets in her way is gonna feel the terrible wrath of Mother Frog!
Please don't hurt me. Back with Tarzan, he wakes up from the nightmare about what happened previously and follows the ape after helping a tortoise back on his feet and falling into a beehive. Seriously, what was that about? The Zugor makes their presence. The Zugor makes their presence known only for the ape that Tarzan found. He's the one that ends up making the Zugor noises, which also turns out to be his name. You know that rhino and bird from earlier? Zugor gets busted and then gets saved by Tarzan with the help of a vine used as a lasso.
Gee, thanks. For nothing! Your fault we were being chased in the first place.
Ungrateful swine! Tantor gets took after she has an outburst at the youngsters, telling them to cover for her and Tantor with picking monkey berries. Watch this go south very quickly. Back with Tarzan, Zugor tears him down by saying he's not an ape, despite Tarzan being raised by apes. Zugor uses every derogatory term possible while coming across as really unlikable. Seriously, why? The next song, Who Am I, sounds fun on its own, but I don't think it works in this film.
Oh, don't cry. Tarzan's still monkey berries, remember? I know. I wasn't gonna tell her.
Tell me what?
That Tarzan's alive. Jake and Tantor went to look for him. On Dark Mountain.
And this is why you don't trust kids with information. Because they always blurt it out, eventually. Carla now starts looking for Tarzan as well. Zugor tries to get himself comfortable for a nap, leading to some unnecessary funny gags. Also, what is Zugor's problem? He scares Turk and Tantor into Keigo and Uto. They all leave Tantor behind. That's just unacceptable. Zugor is starting to warm towards Tarzan, despite the latter thinking he's nothing. Back with Turk, she provokes Keigo and Uto into fighting. Second time they fought in the film, allowing Turk to escape. Back with Tarzan, he starts training to be a Zugor. Turk rescues Tantor as they both run into Tarzan. The gorilla trio start to follow them while Carla has the kids. Can we spend more than 60 seconds on one scene, please?
That's why we came to bring you home. Not coming home.
You not?
Nope. I'm a Zugor now. A Zugor? What does that mean? Means I don't need anybody but myself. Anybody? Anybody.
You just reunited with them and now you're saying you don't need them anymore? Make your mind up! Everyone finds Zugor, who then blames Tarzan for what's happened.
Come on, boys. Let's go take over the neighborhood. And this time, no one gets in our way.
I'm supposed to take you three seriously? Tarzan goes to get Zugor, while Turk and Tantor go to warn Kerchak, leaving Tarzan behind. Why?
No offense, Tarzan, but you'll just slow us down.
You what?
You're supposed to be his best friends! That's not what best friends do! The trio make it back while the apes try to take down Carla and Tarzan until... Zugor Ex Machina, I guess. Tarzan goes to take Keigo and Uto down while Zugor handles Gunda with some pretty childish insults, and Turk and Tantor help Carla and the kids. This whole finale is nothing but comedy aside from Carla and the kids. I'll admit, some of those sweeping shots, blending the hand-drawn and computer animation still hold up pretty well.
He thinks I have beautiful eyes.
Seriously, at no point did you two allude to being in love with each other throughout the entire film. Zugor lives with Gunda, Uto, and Keigo as their stepfather. Tarzan swings through the trees to finish, giving us a Tarzan yell to finish. Let's just get to the scores. Story, gonna give a 3. Story of Tarzan 2 is a straightforward, lightweight midquel that follows young Tarzan as he briefly runs away after believing he's a burden to his gorilla family. What unfolds is a predictable tale of self-discovery built on familiar beats. Tarzan doubts himself, meets an eccentric mentor figure, faces a mild external threat, and returns home with a renewed sense of belonging. While harmless and occasionally charming, the narrative lacks tension, emotional nuance, or meaningful stakes. It feels more like an extended TV episode than a fully developed film, offering little beyond a basic message about accepting yourself. Why is the Tarzan series still not on Disney Plus? You have the money to get the rights to be able to stream the series on your service. You have no excuse, Disney! Characters, I'm giving a 2. The characters in Tarzan 2 are broadly sketched and rarely rise above simple comedic or thematic functions. In other words, caricatures. Young Tarzan is sympathetic but written with a narrow emotional range, mostly repeating cycles of insecurity and slapstick mishaps. His inner conflict feels surface level, lacking the depth or growth that made the adult version so compelling. The supporting characters like Turk and Tantor are reduced to brief comic relief cameos, offering little contribution to Tarzan's journey. The film introduces Zugor as a mysterious, grumpy hermit who becomes a stand-in mentor, but even he is portrayed mostly through gags and exaggerated reactions. The new antagonistic apes, Uto and Keigo, are one-note and contribute little beyond mild conflict. Overall, the cast feels underdeveloped and unable to carry the emotional weight the story aims for. Visuals, I'm going to give a 6. Visually, Tarzan 2 stands out as one of the more polished Disney direct-to-video efforts, though still noticeably below theatrical standards. The jungle setting is presented with warm, appealing colors, enough detail. The jungle setting is presented with warm, appealing colors and enough detail to create a sense of place, even if the background and character animation can feel simplified. Motion is generally smooth, and some action scenes, particularly those involving swinging and climbing, capture traces of the energy from the original film. However, the movie lacks the dynamic camera work, textured environments, and refined character animation that defined Disney's late 90s peak, which, while perfectly watchable, the visuals function more as a pleasant decoration than as a storytelling strength. Soundtrack, I'm giving a 2. The soundtrack is one of the film's weakest elements. Unlike the original Tarzan, where Phil Collins' music played a major emotional and narrative role, Tarzan 2 offers little in the way of memorable songs or powerful musical cues. The score leans heavily on generic, upbeat background music that rarely enhances the mood or deepens dramatic moments. Attempts at emotional resonance often fall flat because the accompanying music feels bland or mismatched. The accompanying music, even the handful of vocal tracks lack staying power and do not contribute meaningfully to the film's identity. Overall, the soundtrack feels more functional than inspired, leaving almost no lasting impression. The legacy, and it's the first time I'm actually able to use this officially for the legacy of these films. The legacy is going to be getting a big fat 0. Tarzan 2, congratulations! You're a failure! In terms of lasting impact, Tarzan 2 is almost entirely forgettable. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a low 33% rating with the critics, reflecting its generally negative reception. The film did receive some recognition. It was nominated for an Annie Award for Best Animated Home Entertainment Production, but it did lose out to Lilo & Stitch 2. Despite that nomination, Tarzan 2 has had very little cultural or franchise legacy. It hasn't influenced future Tarzan stories, rarely gets referenced, and tends to be regarded merely as a disposable direct-to-video midquel rather than a meaningful part of the Disney Tarzan canon. So, overall, this film gets a final score of 26%, which is severely disappointing. A very disappointing direct-to-video follow-up on one of the best Disney films of the 90s. Tarzan 2 is a lightly entertaining but ultimately forgettable midpool that struggles to justify its existence. The story is simple yet predictable, offering only a surface-level exploration of young Tarzan's insecurity. Characters are thinly written, with most supporting roles reduced to brief comic relief or one-note personalities. The visuals are the film's strongest asset, providing pleasant but modest animation typical of Disney's direct-to-video era. Unfortunately, the soundtrack lacks memorable songs or emotional weight, falling far short of the original film's musical impact. And with a 33% Rotten Tomatoes score and a single Annie Award nomination, Tarzan 2 left virtually no lasting legacy, and as a whole, with an overall score of 26%, a watchable but minor and largely inconsequential entry in the Tarzan franchise. Now, where does it land on the board? It is the exact same score as Pocahontas 2, which, yikes, horrific. It is the exact same score as Pocahontas 2, but I am putting Tarzan 2 above Pocahontas 2 because Pocahontas 2 does not exist to me anymore. Above Cinderella 2, but below, well, significantly below Lion King 1.5, but even that didn't do that well. I'm not recommending this one. I summarized it there when I went through the score. The overall score, 26%. It's very forgettable. Its plot beats are predictable. The characters are just caricatures. I'm severely disappointed. But thankfully, the next film we have is going to be so much better, because we're going to be heading back to Hawaii with Lilo and Stitch 2 in the next episode. But until then, thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy this episode, hit the thumbs up. I've gone through everything at the beginning. Subscribe if you want to keep up to date with the Kingdom of Isolation. Hit the bell, turn on notifications so you don't miss when an episode goes live. I've got a passes page so that you can see uncut episodes of the Kingdom of Isolation. And instead of using the Kingdom Hearts music on the YouTube versions of these videos, I will be using the official film soundtracks from 2026. As I mentioned, the next episode, we're going to be heading back to Hawaii, and it's going to be
Lilo and Stitch. Stitch has a glitch.
But until then, make each moment count, and I'll see you guys next time in the Kingdom of Isolation.